Hello everybody, and welcome to Cobcast, where I currently tell you a story every single week. Now, I know it's been 10 days, kind of been slacking, but things happen here and there, you know. It's life, right? So, what I really want to do is try to, at least for right now, just get you guys a video every week. So, if it's 10 days, that's a week, right? Anyways, I was really trying to think of something that I could share that doesn't require me to be able to add any kind of video clips or any kind of pictures to really establish the story that I'm going to tell. And I have some stories in line for you that I really do need to put those in. So when I get my editing stuff going, I just got to get my computer going, really. I will get that for you. But today I have a story that does not have any photos, but it's still one of those stories that I will never forget. And I'm just gonna name this Concrete Job, because I really don't know what else you could call it, because I'll tell you what, this was a little bit about the background. I worked for a guy, I guess you could call him a slumlord, but a guy that does like really cheap work and just goes and bids jobs at hotels or any kind of trailers or any kind of establishment where you know you can get your foot in the door and say, hey, I'll do that for $500 kind of thing. And we did some serious jobs. I worked with this guy for a little while, let's say 2 years. And we did a lot of odd jobs, but a lot of it was hotels. And there's this very specific hotel that we had as a little side project, because we were doing flooring in one hotel, but we were waiting on more material, so there was like slack in the work. And we're waiting for material to show up, so we gotta bid another job and go get something to do. So we could actually, make money and keep working. And while we're waiting on this material, we did quite a few different things. Mostly flooring, other places too, believe it or not. Doing a lot of flooring, right? One of those places. We'll get to that in a second. Some of them needed concrete poured to put tile, or they just needed a concrete board in to do tile in bathrooms. But there was this one hotel. There was these pathways between like sections of the hotel. I'm not going to use the name of the hotel. I mean, not that anybody would actually know what hotel I'm talking about, except for people that know me that watch these videos. There's like 4 parts, away from the hotel. So there's like 4 quadrants, I guess. And between those, there's 3 things. You can actually drive through them. You're not supposed to, but they have concrete slabs, and the stairs from the second floor leads right down to them to walk through, because the second floor doors are on the other side. So that way, they're kind of separated. Anyways, 2 of those 3 pathways, 2 of those 3 were just nothing in there. And so they needed new concrete poured. So we set up our little boundaries and we set everything up for concrete. I'm not going to explain it because a lot of people don't know how to do concrete. So just to keep it simple, we got everything set up to pour the concrete. We poured the first 2. A-okay. The problem is with the third one, and this is where it gets a little bit sticky. The problem is there's an ice machine right in there throughout that hallway area, whatever you want to call it, pathway. And this ice machine either had to be taken out or lifted up and a square put around it, and then we could have scooted it over and concreted it in that square where the ice machine was going to sit. That was one of the ideas. Probably one of the better ideas is just the concrete around it and then make its own little pad. The thing vibrates, right? So instead of doing that or removing it, the thing is heavy and it's full of ice. It runs, and then the people need to use it. They're not gonna wait, which, I mean, they couldn't walk on the wet concrete anyways, but the brilliant idea that my guy that I called my boss at the time, the brilliant idea he had was to just lift it up on pieces of PVC pipe, 1 per each leg. And instead of like cutting the PVC, which already was a bad idea. Like, oh, all it'll leave is the little footholes, and then we can just, the guy's an idiot. But, so instead of like, at least cutting the pipe to where it's flush, no, he cuts it with a Sawzall, and we jack it up with a car jack, not a bottle jack, just a floor jack. Jack up this ice machine and put it on these things. I said, dude, this is probably the dumbest thing that I've ever seen. That ice machine is going to fall. And we get lifted up. Put on those things, and I said, this is so stupid. Let's hurry up and get this floor done so we can pour this concrete. We're pouring the concrete. We're about 75% of the way done. We already had it all poured, brushed, smooth, polished. Excuse me. Like, ready to dry, basically. Like, it's poured concrete. It's just needs to set. But we're working our way back, and this is kind of a big area. And we get about 3/4 of the way through. And then the worst thing that could have happened. The ice machine turned on. When that ice machine turned on, it did not only fall, it fell, and it broke, dumped out all the ice all over the brand new concrete that we had just laid. It's still wet, absolutely still wet. All the ice. And it messes up everywhere where it landed, obviously. It was a big ice machine, like larger than your average refrigerator. And, well, maybe depending on your refrigerator. But anyways, so not only did it dump out all the ice, it ripped the pipe that it was connected to, copper pipe, ripped it out of the ceiling halfway down this pathway. And now we have water just actively spraying on all of this concrete that we just poured down. And, I mean, the obvious thing here is, we lost the rest of that job. That did not. They told us, do not come back. But that's what happens when you try to act professional and do really stupid things. And the other problem was, we didn't know where the water shutoff was. Because that wasn't supposed to happen, right? We weren't supposed to have to shut the water off unless we moved the ice machine. So, since we didn't move the ice machine, we didn't shut the water off. I think either we should have drained it and then moved it, or possibly just did the first idea, bored around it, and then once that concrete's dry, just pour its own little pad. But hey, I never said that I was the brightest crayon in the box, but sometimes things happen, and I had to be a part of that. So that's the ice machine. Concrete ice machine. Thank you so much.